and welcome back to another end of the month movie ranking on this channel. For anybody new, this is basically just a review of everything I've done on this channel, including my shorts. So I always start these videos the exact same way. I talk about the horror movies that I watched this month, ranking them. This includes new releases, theater releases, watches that I missed but have finally watched, and first time watches all ranked together. I then talk about any TV show if I watched during that month. Then I get into the haul portion of my video, where I first talk about my physical media haul, show what I got this month, then get into my horror collection haul. And at the very end, I talk about what I have planned and what you can expect for some videos next month. Now, this month I watched a total of, and I will start putting time, I put timestamps on these videos now, so if you want to skip to a certain portion of this video, you can. Now, for this month, I watched 10 movies for the first time, 5 theater releases, 1 A26 release that I watched finally that I missed out when it came out on, and 4 first watches. And with the exception of the top 3, I would say this month was basically full of forgettable, middle of the road movies. Starting out with my number 10 spot, The Mortuary System. This is the 2026 release that I forgot to watch when it initially came out, but this basically just tells a story of an assistant who is performing a body autopsy, but she does not complete the autopsy in the guide and leaves when things start to get strange. Now, this is the definition of it should have stayed a short film. It takes the kind of like vibe of the autopsy of Jane Doe for the first part of the movie, which I will say I like. I don't mind that part of the movie. If they kept that and ended it at a certain point and did not make it as long as it did, because you can definitely feel the runtime after like the halfway mark. You can feel the runtime, and it kind of turns into like your typical, like, you don't know what's going on, sacrifice type movie road, and I didn't entirely love that. The movie ends with her coming back, working back in with the guy, because he was kind of like testing her this entire time to see if she could even do it in the first place, why he doesn't hire people. And the main actress, for what she's given, I think they do a fine job, but it just should have stayed as short, and you can definitely feel the runtime. It kind of turns into something else. It's just not great. At number 9, I have The Bye Bye Man. This is like a haunted house, cursed type movie, and I got some enjoyment out of this. It is bad. I'm not to the level I would say it's so bad it's good, and I got like a little bit enjoyment out of it. The acting, not great. The cliches, full, but I got a little bit enjoyment out of it, admittedly, so I placed it above The Mortuary Assistant. At number 8, I have Maniac from 1934. This is less than an hour long, I will say, and I got this off my little classical, like 50 classical CD set that I have, and I just kind of chose it randomly after I saw it was less than an hour. So I put in not really knowing anything, and it is bad. Okay, it is bad. This is basically like a outdated psychological type movie. There's text on screen throughout, just kind of the process. The acting, not great. They have some outdated language because they use gay in a very negative tone with them talking to someone. The police officer goes to talk to someone, and that's very outdated with how it is used today. I do want to acknowledge that. And there's like little speeches there, things they use that are used negatively, that aren't used negatively today and are not negative, so that is in there. So they have some outdated stuff. But you know, for how bad this movie is, I got like a little enjoyment out of it. I would say this movie is so bad it's good for me, and it is something I know a lot of people would say is bad. It's critically not great, but I mean, it's so bad it's good for me. I'm at the level of it's so bad it's good for me. I couldn't get to Bye Bye Man, but you know what? I can get it here with this movie, even with its very outdated flaws, especially. At number 7, I have Deep Water. I believe we had another shark release last month, and just like last month, it's just kind of, yeah, we had Thrash last month, and this is just very forgettable, I will say. This is just like a plane attack, and then it turns to like a shark movie. It's not really a shark movie though, because you don't get a lot of sharks. The shark themselves, it depends on where they are on screen, because they look fine when you rarely get them. The plane crash itself is okay. The CGI fire It's alright. The main characters, though, the dynamics between them, there's a lot of dynamics between them. And they take a long time to kill off one certain character, which was very annoying. It seems like they were like, okay, this character does not need to survive. Well, we're going to the last second to kill this character off, when that was just annoying. I have some questions, though, on like little logic stuff, but that's just small things. It's just a very forgettable little, mainly plain disaster movie, like maybe 2 or 3, maybe 5, I'll be generous, like 5 to 10% shark movie. And the main character that we do follow, has anyone ever seen the movie Jumanji for 2017? I know it's a big one. Well, the main character has like a Smolder kind of look, Bravestone. The character reminds me of a Smolder, and he actually sounds like at one point in the movie, and that's like, I couldn't erase my mind of that. But above number 7, I have Passenger. Now, I have seen the opening for this movie many times when I went into theater, and this basically just tells the story of a couple who stop at a car wreck, and they start getting haunted by the ghost because they attract a demonic entity because they stopped for a car accident. And I know a lot of people had high expectations for this movie. I've seen the trailer multiple times, but I went into this movie having no expectations whatsoever. And I will say this, great opening, amazing opening. I will say probably one of the best openings of the year so far. But after the opening, this movie just wasn't completely thought out after the opening. The car alarm does go off a little bit too much in the opening, but that's like a side thing. The main actors, what they're given, I think they did a fine job. I like the ending. The CGI fire takes away from it massively, but I like the opening. And for what this movie is and what it turns into, I don't really mind it. Will I remember this movie by the end of the year? Will it stand out? Probably not. But for what this movie is, I would say it's solid for what it is. It wasn't completely thought out, though, because you have this legend of the passenger and how it works, and you have rules to explain. That doesn't quite explain how the first person that we see in the beginning got it, and just how that completely works. We don't get the relationship dynamically thought of. It seems like they thought of the relationship kind of drama halfway point, but once you actually get to them having a trouble, they're like, all right, you know what, we're just gonna have them survive this and just undo everything we did in the beginning. And that's just kind of what they did. I wasn't completely thought of throughout. So for what it was, I liked it, but it was not thought out. But I can definitely see people who had higher expectations, and if it kept the same energy as the opening, it'd be a lot higher. But this definitely got overshadowed by Obsession 100%. And then the Backrooms coming out, and my review for Backrooms is coming out right after I film this, so probably tomorrow. And at number 5, I actually ironically have Backrooms. Now, Backrooms basically tells the story of the legends of the Backrooms, and I do know about it online. I have vague memories of playing the game, the Backrooms, online, vaguely. And from my memories, I will say, I think they did a good enough job setting the scene of the Backrooms and just how it completely expands in like an ongoing room type thing. Do they fall completely on their face when it comes to like the monster? A little bit. The psychological take I didn't expect at all, and you definitely feel the runtime of this actual movie. I would describe it as a weird movie because that's just the best way to describe it, especially when you get to one point, which I'm like, if they end it right here, this would be solid. But the movie keeps going, and first of all, we did not need the therapist's trauma and backstory like it was written in the movie. They could have cut off runtime for this movie because you can definitely feel it, especially with that. If they took away some minutes from that, that would have been solid. I think they were effective enough showing the Backrooms and how they keep going and how big they are and you don't get lost in. But I just can't quite get into the whole weirdness of this movie, and that's just kind of where I'm at with the Backrooms right now. At number 4, I have Escape Room Tournament of Champions. This is what I would describe as a middle road horror movie. It's basically your typical like run-of-the-mill just movie you would put on to turn your brain off, because this is a sequel to a movie called Escape Room. I liked the Escape Room movie when it came out. This one, it felt like the actual escape room, you went through a lot too fast on this one. The acting is fine, when the characters that they're given are fine. They fall into a lot of cliches for this though. And you do have a twist, because before I watched this movie, it's been years since I saw the first escape room, so I forgot what that main character, and once I realized who that main character was when she announced herself, I'm like, oh god, that's crazy. So for what it was, I liked it. And the plot twist of Amanda being the one she thought, Amanda surviving and basically like designing the room and everything, you know what, not bad. A movie I would watch just to turn my brain off. At number 3, I have Dust Bunny. Dust Bunny is, again, like a weird movie, but in a fantasy way. It tells the story of a little girl who is like, witnesses the death of her parents, says it's the Dust Bunny that did it. So she goes next door to her next door neighbor, who is a killer, and he's like, contract killer, and she's like, hey, can I hire you to do this? And he takes on the case. And I have seen something else from someone behind this project before, and I did like that show. I still do like that show recently. And so I watched this, and I will say it is weird in a fantasy way. I did like it. Is this something I would rewatch? Probably not. It's definitely unique. Alright, I'll give it that. It's unique in a way that it stands out to me. And unique in a way that I am actually glad that I saw it. I actually had this on my watch list last year when it came out in 2025. But it didn't show my theaters, so as soon as I saw it on streaming, I'm like, oh, you know what, I'll watch it. I think it's shot well too, and the way they actually use the Dust Bunny, I will admittedly have fun with, and how the Dust Bunny actually like attaches to the girl and she's in control of it. Not bad, unique, not something I would really watch again though. I could see this movie is not going to be for everyone either. And number 2, I apologize if I'm pronouncing this wrong, because before I filmed the review for that video, I said that name so many times just so I would not get it wrong. So, Saccharin. This basically is a movie about a person who uses human ashes as a diet pill, but things start to go wrong when the ghost, the spirit, haunts her. This is a movie I can honestly say I admire with how different and unique it is, more than I would say I actually like it. Because the main character, for what she's going, does a good job. We see everything through her lens. It's not a perfect movie, but it's unique in the way that it uses its ghost story, which is something I don't actually say pretty often. It's unique in the way it presents food and diet, and I do like that aspect of the movie, and I can appreciate it. I don't know how to entirely feel about how entirely the ghost works. I do like how the more she uses the ashes, the stronger the ghost gets. I like that idea, but the fact of the ghost, kind of how she gains body, I don't know how to entirely feel about that, and the ending just falls flat on its face to me, because I just have some logic questions, like how to graduate, because there was a whole series of things she did that wouldn't get her to that point. How is that overlooked? Because there are definitely cameras in that building, and I just don't fully understand the ending shot, if I'm being quite honest. I just don't. And it's unique in a way. I'm glad that I watched it and saw it in theaters when I did, and definitely had some creepy vibes. The scares are mixed throughout. I just can't quite say I like it, but it is something I will admire how different it is. It's not going to be for everybody though. And number 1, I have Obsession. I had no expectations going into this movie, and this movie is great. The acting is great. The way that it's presented is acting great. The wording, everything about this movie is great. I really, really, really like that. How do I feel just about what it's trying to say though? I like what it's trying to say and actually how it presents it. And I'm always very sensitive when it comes to essay scenes, especially like those hit hard movies when they do it. But I actually like how they presented that scene. I think they did a good job presenting it, especially how they made Bear the villain, and how you have someone that at one point, if you have been so obsessed with someone and you want them to like you, how you can maybe wish that, but then you see him kind of becoming the villain at one point in the movie. He turns, you think, okay, he is the villain, he is turning evil, and he is the villain throughout the rest of the movie. And then it ends with Nikki kind of like sitting in all of this. She's got to take responsibility for all of these actions that he put her in, which that's something, yeah. I do wish we saw her full reaction of her walking around and seeing every bit of it, but that's just something I wish they added. But overall, Obsession was a great movie, just a great surprise. Now, I don't have any TV shows to talk about today because I didn't watch any TV shows. So let's go ahead and get into the haul portion of this video. Now, I got a Facebook, I was on Facebook Marketplace and I bought this box of DVDs that was mainly horror for $20. I have a full video on my channel if you want to see exactly what was in this box, but here I'm just gonna put a video somewhere on the screen here of like a quick slash of all the videos that I kept getting on there, because we'd be here for a long time. I had to sit and read all of them. But as for my movies that I have purchased, I technically purchased this. I purchased this last month, but it came this month. This is a Blu-ray of The Living Dead Girl, and I absolutely love this. It comes with a booklet of behind the stage stuff and people reading it. Someone left a comment on my video, an older video of mine actually talking about this movie, and said it was going to be Blu-ray, so I immediately ordered it. Very happy I did. The audio is a lot better on the Blu-ray than it is streaming, which is really nice. Still love this movie, still adore it. Glad I own it. It's very interesting to hear the insights, especially when you hear the extras aren't great. And actually hearing some of the scenes from that perspective and the character, I absolutely adore that. And then I went to Texas Frightmare this year. I already haul video for everything I got there, but I picked up two Blu-rays. I got Tourist Trap and The Return of the Living Dead. I have seen Tourist Trap. I've not seen The Return of the Living Dead, but I've heard good things about it, so I picked them up. Initially, I was supposed to be 28, but the guy sold to me for 25, so that was pretty nice of them. And when I was in line to meet Tobin Bell, at one point they decided to, I don't know what happened, but they decided to give like free DVDs to everyone who was waiting in line, and they ended up giving out Vampire War, which is basically just like, it's taking place found in German about vampires that are blaming for the attacks. So I have not seen it yet because it's still in this packaging, but interestingly enough. Now for my autographs that I got this year, I'm not going to talk just inside because it's going to be a longer video than usual on this channel, but first off, okay, I met the guy who played Randy. Here he is. There's my autograph. Here is Roger Jackson. He is the voice of Ghostface. He was really nice to me. Everybody was really nice to me. Tobin Bell, longest line ever. Literally, I got in line as soon as I got there. I got this like 5:25 p.m. The convention closed at 5. It was crazy, y'all. Then Happy Death Day. She was the nicest person ever. And the actual photo, she did for free, which was really, really nice. I think I caught her right for a break. The last autograph I got, there we go. And I asked him a question about what role he'd play, because he was the sheriff in Scream, Halloween, and Nightmare on Elm Street, and he was really nice to talk to. This shot was also him actually staring at the blood of Johnny Depp. That's just a quick oversight. Now, for my horror collection this month, I have 3 new Neca releases. First, and I do have some unboxing stuff already up on my shorts, but here is Child's Play 2, Ultimate Chucky. I finally got my hands on Welcome to Derry Ultimate Pennywise. I have the other 2, so I do plan to do a video on all 3 of them soon, so here he is. I love this part of the box. I really like how all 3 of them have it. It's really cool. And then finally I have Terrifier 3, Art the Clown, and actually, and lastly I have Ghostface Returns, and this one probably the easiest to track down between the 2 of them. And actually, oh my god, wait, this is the Art the Clown Terrifier Clown. Here he is, Santa, Ultimate Santa. I have him displayed, so here he is. He's actually, I tried to measure him up to my Terrifier here. It seems like he's like a little shorter for some reason than him. I don't know why. But that is all I have for my horror collection this month. Now, as for what to expect next month. Next month, I plan to film a video revisited talking about the remake of Suspiria, because I done a video on the first trilogy of the 3 Mothers, and then after my Suspiria video comes out, a few days later, I'm going to release a ranking of the 3 Mother movies, which there's 4 of them, and I absolutely adore the first 2, which I'm actually very excited to talk about. The remake is actually do like the remake and how they actually take things differently in the franchise. And then I'm going to talk about Latavius. I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly, but that's all I have. And Scary Movie 6. That's all I have planned for next month as of right now. There's going to be some more stuff coming up, but that's all I have planned next month. So that is it for May of 2026. Next month is going to be June, which is the 6th month of the year, the half mark, which is crazy. So comment down below movies you watched this month. Did you like any new releases? Not like any new releases? Any surprises? Any surprise movies that you watched this month? Comment down below and let's have a conversation. See y'all next month.